What is up, guys? You know what day it is? It is Thursday, which means check-in day. Week number 10 for the growth phase. This was a great week. My training sessions have felt really, really good this week. Some very good progress across the board. My pull session and my mixed leg session specifically felt awesome. I mean, I think on each day I hit like 5 PRs. So like almost every movement. Really happy with how this week felt in general. Sleep is good. Recovery is good. My fatigue is like a non-issue. I don't feel like I'm getting overly fatigued at this point or like I have too much fatigue accumulating. I'm handling everything really well. Food is still going down easily. Training performance is still increasing and feels really, really good. Everything is clicking. We are 10 weeks into the growth phase. I am about, on the average, 15 pounds up. Weight this morning was a little high just because I had a little more sodium, I think, yesterday in the form of a little bit more sauce on one of my meals. I switched out my regular barbecue sauce for like a Japanese barbecue sauce that I just alternate back and forth between the two sometimes. But the Japanese barbecue sauce is very, very heavy in sodium because I think it's like soy sauce and something else in it. And obviously soy sauce is like just fucking pure salt. So I think the extra sodium from that caused me to hold a little bit of water. So woke up this morning, weighed in for my check-in at 218. Day before, I think it was 217.4. But even before that, I think it was somewhere around like 215.8 or something. So just up, since adding that in. But that will also taper off after today. Today is a rest day for me, so my food is lower. Current difference between training day and rest day nutrition, it's about 800 calories. It's pretty significant. My training day is close to 4,000 calories now, just shy of it, whereas my rest day is just about 3,100. So it's about 800, 850 difference there. Overall, though, again, still feeling really good. That weight feels fine. The last time I was at 218, I was fucking fat, and it felt like it. Everything feels good. If you didn't see my blood work review video, I posted from, I think, Saturday or Sunday. I got my blood work back, my labs back. Everything is great. Looking awesome. So the only consideration we've had to make for changes based on that is to up my insulin dosage a little bit because my A1C was creeping up a little bit. Everything else is great. So health is good. Progress is good. Super happy with that. On the note of upping the insulin, my glucose level this week for today's check-in was 89, which is awesome. We're back under 90. The last 2 weeks, last two check-ins, because one was like a split half week, I think we were at 93 each time. So we've brought that down a little bit by adding some more Lantus in. I'll get to the doses in a minute. Blood pressure today was 128/79, so still totally within acceptable range for as much gear as I'm on and being, in the off season. So for nutrition and training, nothing changes this week. No food increases this week, no training changes this week, just checking the boxes and continuing to keep on pushing. The only changes we made this week were some dose adjustments for PEDs and some additional added supplements for PEDs. So we have now moved Masteron from 1,000 milligrams per week up to 1,200 milligrams per week. So we've added 200 milligrams there. And then we've also added in 5 IU of Humalog, so rapid acting insulin, pre-workout. Okay, so just a little bit more glucose management tools deployed there. Everything else is the same. Again, the Masteron is up a little bit. That's the only other major change. We're going to start with my side relaxed here. And I've started to now do my relaxed shots as well for my check-in on top of just my standard poses that I typically do. I just want to get, more practice in on these. Obviously, I can do some changes to these. This is the only one I have this week. Honestly, I just didn't upload the other ones to my computer. I did all of my relaxed shots this week, but this is the only one I've got. So they're all pretty much the same. I'm not going to bother uploading those for you guys, but happy with how this looks. This is a big improvement over the last time I was doing relaxed shots, which was months ago on check-ins with my previous coach. And my condition was just way worse, way, way worse. So I'm really happy with how this looks right now. This is pretty solid. Not a whole lot to say, since I don't have a basis for comparison over a longer number of weeks like I do with my other shots. But moving into my main poses here, we're going to go with the front double. And that is really solid. I'm super happy with this. Condition is still holding, you know, as I've mentioned, condition is doing really, really well for about 10 weeks into the off season. You may notice that my picture setup looks a little different this week. I switched back to, I was doing this previously and I hadn't been doing it for a while. I was taking videos and then just screenshotting frames from the video for my pictures, but I like the quality I get a little bit more when I use like the remote clicker that comes with my tripod. So you see it here in my left hand. I'm actually using that now, and the picture looks a little different because of it, but really happy with how I look here. Really happy with how the condition's holding, the extra size we've added. Everything looks super, super good, especially, you know, seeing more lat come into the shot for me has been a big improvement. Moving into my front lat spread on that note. Again, same thing here. Condition is holding really well. Really happy with this. My right shoulder wasn't as jacked up this week as it usually is, so that felt pretty good to get that locked in too. Still need to play with it a little bit. It's still not perfectly in alignment, but it's getting there. Not a whole lot to say here otherwise, other than, again, just solid progress. I'm really happy with how things have been clicking. Now we will get into my side chest. This was really good. This is a solid shot for me. I feel like I still need to improve my rotation here through the torso, but I'm happy with how this looks. I'm really happy with the added size we've put on, specifically to my hamstrings and my legs here. My chest, honestly, just feels like it's just always been relatively solid, and I think it's pretty good here. I'm happy with it. Obviously, I want it to be bigger, but I think something that would help me in the shot a little bit too is more delt, which we are working on. Regardless, conditions holding, looks good. Now, getting into my side tricep. This shot's a little wonky this week. You can see I'm using the clicker in my mouth like most people do because I just can't click it with my hands when I'm locked into a side try. But I felt like the lockout was fine here. Maybe a little questionable, but my legs here, I wasn't really dialed in. I didn't have any, you know, pressure down into them. Wasn't really flexing them at all. So it looks a little flat, or I don't want to say flat, maybe just washed out. So not the greatest looking shot this week, but the progress is still here. This is really, really, really good. My triceps have come up quite a bit, so I'm happy with that as well. Overall, you know, everything is really improving, and I'm really happy to see that. Now, turning around here and going into the back double, happy with this as well. You know, my width here is good. It's improving, I should say. I wouldn't call it good or great, but it's definitely improving. I'm really happy with how this looks. You know, continuing to work on my back, continuing to improve it. I do see that my mid back and low back look a little more defined than I've noticed in the past in this shot, which is really good for me to see because obviously that's been a weak point for me and that's something I really want to bring up. And then my most improved shot of the week, and one that I think just looks awesome this week and I'm super happy with, is my rear lat spread. This, I kind of tucked my hands a little differently. You know, instead of using a thumb tuck and bringing my wrist forward, which kind of drops my shoulders back, you know, I think I maybe get a little more width when I do it like that. But when I tuck my whole hand like this and get that full drive forward, my mid back just pops. And this looks way better. Super, super happy with this. This is great. So I know how I'm going to be hitting this pose now and how I should be hitting this pose to begin with. But very happy here. You know, my shoulder from the rear here, I think my right shoulder still is just a little wonky for me, but I'm not too concerned about it. I'm really happy with how this has improved. And honestly, my conditioning from the back here is looking great. Getting into the ab and thigh here. This was a little bit kind of relaxed this week. I was a little bit like too relaxed in it, I think. Still looks good, still happy with it. But you can see I'm trying to like figure out how to do the clicker here while also maintaining my flex through this pose. So I think that next week I'll probably just, like I did with some of my other poses, throw the clicker in my mouth and opt to just get the actual full flex through that left arm here so that it just looks a little nicer. But overall, strong pose for me, feels really good. Condition, again, as I always say, is holding really well, so happy with this. And last but not least, my most muscular here, switched back to doing this with the hands on the hips kind of fashion here. I think I might need to maybe drop my arms down a little bit. I'm not really sure what I need to do here to kind of bring my back and arm, like to close the gap between my lats and my arms here. I think that would help make it look a little bit better. Maybe it's just more lat size, honestly. But for now, really happy with this. Again, conditions here, legs look great in this shot. I think this is the best way for me to hit this shot. It probably does look best out of all of the ways I have tried to hit it. But yeah, this is good. Every shot looks good. Every shot has the conditioning. Super happy with the progress this week. We're coming up now on just over a month until my wife and I move to Las Vegas. And I'm super excited for that. I know I've said in the past I was going to be going to Torture Gym. I think I've mentioned that a couple times. I am also eyeing Dragon's Lair. I'm trying to weigh the pros and the cons between them right now, and it's really hard. Both are phenomenal facilities, and I would be happy to train at both facilities. I think it's ultimately just going to depend on the location my wife and I end up going. You know, we're not purchasing our home out there right away. We're going to be renting and then purchasing after a few years. You know, once we really make sure we have a good understanding of the area and like the place as much as we think we do. So we're going to rent for a couple of years or a few years even. But for that time, or for renting, we're not really sure where we're going to go yet, specific to location. We have a general vicinity, but you know, if we're on one side of that area that we're looking at, it might be really far from Dragon's Lair, but closer to Torture, and then vice versa if we're on like the other side of that region we're looking at. So it's going to depend, but either way, I'm excited to get out to either one of those facilities, to train at them, to kind of put myself into an environment that's a little bit more conducive to the level of bodybuilding that I would like to pursue or am pursuing. And really excited to just see what kind of opportunities that opens up. And yeah, we're just hyped for the move to begin with. So it's coming up, getting stressed a little bit, but overall stress has not been impacting my progress. And I am super happy about that. Doing really well. And that's about it for this week, guys. I'm going to be doing another PED discussion video, or maybe another video this Saturday. Haven't decided if I want to do the discussion video or maybe a new thing this Saturday. I'll probably be doing a full day of eating soon, probably after the next food bump, which will come here in a couple of weeks, I'm sure. But yeah, if you guys like this kind of content, you like any of the content that I just suggested, like the PED video or the full day of eating videos, make sure to like, subscribe, comment down below. Any questions you might have, anything you want to see from me content-wise related to training, nutrition, or PEDs. And until next time, guys, take it easy.